Hi everyone, this is Hani from Haniela'S, and today I wanted to show you how I made a birthday cake for my very good friends Katie and Tyler, celebrating 11th and 13th birthday. Happy birthday, guys. And they wanted Minecraft cake, so before I started working on a design, I asked them both what they like about the game, and Tyler, he mentioned Enderman, so I included Enderman on one side of the cake. And then I wanted to make it a little more special, so I also included initials on the shorter side. As you see, there's a T in a dark green, and then the other side includes K for Katie. And Katie, being a girl after my own heart, she picked Piggie as her favorite creature, so I put a Piggie on another side of the cake. And then also here I wanted to show you, you can see from here you can see K from the other side. K is in a lighter shade of green. And then the top, as you see, is decorated with dirt blocks that I made from Rice Krispies. You can find a tutorial on how to make these. Just click on a link that you see on the screen and it will take you to the tutorial directly. And for the cake, I used 9 by 13-inch cake pan, and I baked chocolate sponge cake and vanilla sponge cake. You need to let both cakes cool down completely, and then we can trim the cakes, and then you can flip it and trim it again. My vanilla sponge cake is a little higher, so I'm going to also cut it in half. This way I have additional cake layers, and I really like a lot of layers in my cakes. And you need to do this on the chocolate layer as well. If your cake is a little flimsy and you're afraid to flip it, you can also use a little piece of plastic piece and just place it underneath and flip it that way. Okay, and then you need to cut the cakes in half, and by this time you should also have your simple syrup ready and your filling, buttercream, frosting that you're using. I'm using Swiss buttercream for this cake, and for the simple syrup I flavored my syrup with fresh lemon and also vanilla extract. Underneath the first cake layer there is also a piece of a cardboard covered in plastic wrap for the support. And I'm just brushing each layer with a little bit of simple syrup and then spreading buttercream on top, and we're just gonna layer these and stack these together. And then just very roughly trim the ends. And then you can transfer your cake onto a turnable surface, and if needed you can trim it now more until you're happy with how it looks. And now I'm applying crumb coat. Crumb coat basically seals in all the crumbs from the cake, so you just want to do a crumb coat on this cake from all the sides. And then I'm also adding supports. I'm using drinking straws for the support. I'm always afraid that my cake is going to slide, so I always use some kind of supports, usually drinking straws. And then you can just push them in using other end of a drinking straw, and then you can fill this with more buttercream, and then you need to chill this cake until the buttercream is firm, and then we can do a final smoothing out. Just run a knife underneath to release the cake. Spread a little bit of royal icing on the bottom, and then smooth it out a little more if needed, and then we're ready to decorate the cake. To decorate the sides of the cake, I'm using simple templates that I made. I divided each template based on the size of the side of the cake, divided each template into even squares, and then each square is color coded based on the image that I want to put on the cake. So this one that you see here on the screen, it's actually a pig that we're gonna make. So all you have to do is you need to color your fondant into different colors based on the image you're using, and then we can start making the squares. So on a piece of wax paper, just dust some cornstarch. I'm using marshmallow fondant. It gets a little stickier here and there, so I dusted my wax paper with some cornstarch to prevent sticking. And then you can use a pastry wheel or a knife, and you just want to trim the end so you can see the lines on your template clearly, so you can connect them and cut out squares. You can use a ruler, or if you don't have a ruler, you can also use a thicker plastic sheet. Okay, now we're cutting out the squares. And I would recommend that you cut out the squares, all of them, before you start putting the image together. That way it goes quite fast once you have all the squares cut up. And then because we'll be cutting more squares, you want to cover this with plastic wrap so it doesn't dry out, and then you can cut out all the other colors that you need. I'm not gonna be showing you here all of them, just these two. You'll get an idea what I'm talking about. So now we are ready to make an image. So I basically rubbed some Crisco shortening on top of the wax paper, and then we can build the image. Wax paper is going to hold the image together, and then Crisco will make sure that the squares they stick and they don't move around too much. As you see, it's coming along, and you can see the shape of the pig there. So I'm almost done. Just the bottom rectangles there. I couldn't fit the square, so that's why I cut it up into rectangles. Okay, now you have to just trim the ends, and then you need to brush your image with a little bit of water. I'm sorry you can't see here. It's one of those days where I thought I was videotaping myself, but you can't really see well. Just give it a minute, and now you'll see what I'm doing. So you just have to press this on the side so it sticks to it, and then you can try peeling off the wax paper, and it should come off quite easily. So we made the pig. We still have to make other sides. The other side will be Enderman, and for the Enderman I'm doing basically the same thing. A large piece of wax paper, just applying some Crisco shortening on top, and then I have all my squares cut up so we can build the Enderman. Enderman doesn't have as many colors as pig, so you just have to do 3 colors: black, gray, and purple. For the purple, actually I used electric purple from AMERICOLORS, in case you were wondering how I got that bright purple color. And I'm done. So now you have to just brush it with some water like we did before, and then you can trim the ends if needed. And then you can also trim the parchment paper so it's easier for you to handle it, and then apply the whole thing onto the side of the cake. And you want to align it with the bottom and the top, and then you can press it so each square sticks to the surface underneath. And once you're confident then all the squares are sticking, you can peel off the wax paper to reveal the image underneath. Okay, and as you see, the wax paper is peeling off quite easily. It's not sticking, so that's perfect. We still have 2 more sides to decorate. Well, actually 3 more sides, but only 2 more sides will be doing the little squares, and that's for the initials. One side that I'm showing you here, it's T for Tyler, and I'm only doing 2 colors, so it makes it easier to do. The other side is actually K for Katie, which I had to do a mirror image. So once you apply the applique onto the cake, it shows as a correct K. Alright, so you have to brush it with a little bit of water. Don't try to soak it or anything, just a little bit of water so it sticks to the surface underneath. And then align the bottom. And then just press it very lightly at first onto the cake, and then once you are sure that it's a good fit, you can press harder, just so all the squares stick to the buttercream underneath. And then, just like we did before, you can take the wax paper and peel it off, and then finish off the other side. Okay, to decorate the top, I'm just going to apply 1 large piece of fondant on top, and then you can smooth it out, remove any bubbles if there are any. And now I'm just going to use Rice Krispie trees that I made earlier. You can find a tutorial on how to make these on my channel as well. And I'm using a little bit of royal icing to glue these onto the cake, just so they don't trip or fall over the cake when I'm moving it. And then you can also build a staircase like I did here. Well, it's only a couple of stairs, not really a staircase, but you get the idea. And then the same thing, you can just run a knife underneath and place it onto the cake. And the last thing we have to do is to add some water. So I just rolled out a piece of blue fondant, and then using a square cookie cutter, just cut out. I didn't really plan for this shape, whatever shape came out. And then just peel off the wax paper, and the cake is finished. And there you have it, a Minecraft cake. So I really hope you like this cake and that you enjoyed the tutorial. I know it seems a little daunting, perhaps, with all the cutting and all the squares that are involved in the process, but it's actually not that bad. Once you have all the squares cut up, it comes together quite fast. So I hope you'll give it a try. And if you like my tutorial, don't forget to give it thumbs up. And you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel Haniela'S, and you'll get all the video updates delivered to you via email. Thanks for watching. See you next time.